Welcome back, my little chicks of the night. You've wandered into the haunted hatchery, the roost where ghostly tales and bone-chilling legends come to life. Tonight's tale isn't just about a haunting, it's about a predator that doesn't need to chase you through shadows. Instead, it comes to you dressed in a clean suit, carrying a briefcase, and offering you exactly what you've always wanted. The problem? Once you shake its hand, your soul is already signed away. So fluff your feathers, settle into the nest, and prepare yourselves for the chilling legend of Spirit Number 10, the Soul Broker. Ethan Riley was just a normal dad in Denver. At 38, he thought he had things figured out. Steady job at a tech startup, a wife who adored him, and two kids in private school. But when the startup collapsed, Ethan lost his paycheck overnight. Bills piled up. Mortgage lenders started calling. The refrigerator started looking emptier with every passing day. The final straw came when his car broke down on the way to a job interview, leaving him stranded on the side of I-25, sweating through his suit. That night, Ethan stumbled into a dive bar off Colfax. Neon lights flickered, and the air smelled of stale beer and fried food. At the far end of the bar, a man in a charcoal gray suit sat alone, sipping something clear. Ethan swore the stool had been empty when he walked in. The man turned to him with an expression that was polite but unsettling. "You look like someone carrying a heavy load," he said smoothly. Ethan blinked. "Do I know you?" The man smiled. "You will." He introduced himself as Mr. Solomon. What struck Ethan most was how much Solomon knew. He knew the dollar amount Ethan owed on his mortgage. He knew the exact date the foreclosure letters were set to go out. He knew the tuition deadline for Ethan's kid's school. Ethan demanded to know how he had that information. Solomon just tapped his temple and said, "I keep good records." Then came the pitch. 6 months, Solomon said. No bills, no collectors, no interest. 6 months of peace. All I ask is a small favor later. Nothing you'll notice. Nothing you'll miss. Ethan laughed bitterly. He thought it was a scam. But Solomon's eyes were strange, dark, reflective, almost like polished obsidian. Ethan felt as though he was being pulled into them, hypnotized. The next morning, Ethan's phone buzzed with new emails. One from his bank confirming his mortgage had been updated to current, another from a credit bureau showing his report spotless, and a final one from a staffing agency offering him an interview for a job he hadn't even applied for. It was impossible, unless Solomon had been telling the truth. For 6 months, Ethan's life was perfect. He got the new job, took his family on a trip to the mountains, even began planning for the future again. He never thought about the favor until, one rainy night, driving home from work, he hit a slick spot and swerved. The car spun but came to a stop with only a dented fender. Shaken, Ethan checked on his son in the back seat. At first, the boy was crying. Then suddenly, he went silent, limp, eyes rolled back, breathing stopped. At the hospital, doctors were baffled. No trauma, no underlying condition, no explanation. The boy's soul had simply left. And in the corner of the ER waiting room, Ethan swore he saw Solomon. Same gray suit, same calm smile, tapping his pen against the clipboard. The debt had been collected. Ethan wasn't alone. Over the next several years, stories spread like wildfire. A college student who begged for one more semester to graduate, only to lose her ability to feel happiness ever again. A washed-up guitarist whose hands were restored long enough for one last tour, only for his wife to wither away in her sleep. A grandmother who lived long enough to meet her grandchild, only for that grandchild to be born without breath. Always the same figure. A man in a flawless gray suit. Always the same offer. Time, talent, money, or love. And always the same price. A soul stolen quietly without warning. In 2023, podcaster Lydia Vaughn stumbled across the legend. At first, she dismissed it as urban folklore. But when three separate interviewees described the exact same man, down to his type in and the rhythm of his knocks, she began to dig deeper. Her research led her to dusty archives. A diary from 1834 mentioned a lone broker of the soul who gave a man gambling luck in exchange for his wife's life. A letter from 1899 told of a mysterious benefactor who kept the factory afloat before the owner's daughter wasted away. Every century, every city, always the same. The broker. And then Lydia's podcast started recording things. During an interview, she played back her audio to find faint knocking that hadn't been in the room. 3 slow, 2 fast. The pattern survivors always mentioned. One evening, Lydia received an email with no sender address. The subject line read, "Would you like more time to finish your work?" The message contained a contract attached as a PDF. She deleted it immediately. But the next morning, her laptop was open on her desk. The contract pulled up on the screen. The file name was different now. Lydia Vaughn _ accepted.pdf. She hadn't opened it. She hadn't signed anything. And yet, the file existed. Her friends noticed her health declining, pale skin, dark circles, her voice growing weaker. She brushed it off as stress. But one night, while brushing her teeth, Lydia looked in the mirror and froze. Her reflection smiled at her, though she wasn't smiling. Her reflection wore a charcoal gray suit. The soul broker thrives in today's world because he doesn't need parchment contracts or candles in dark rooms. He hides in digital fine print. He waits in the "I agree" button people click without reading. He buries himself in apps, in loans, in promises people make without thought. You don't summon him. You sign him into your life every time you agree to something you don't fully understand. And by the time you realize it, it's too late. Lydia's last podcast went live a week after her disappearance. She had scheduled it to upload automatically. Her voice, faint and trembling, confessed, "He came to me. He offered me more time. He said the contract was already signed. I tried not to read it, but my tongue moved on its own. My lips spoke the words I couldn't see. He smiled when I cried." If you're hearing this, don't look at anything he gives you. Don't sign. Don't even glance. Because once you do, you've already paid. The episode ended with 3 slow knocks, a pause, then 2 fast ones, and then silence. And that, my little brood, is the story of spirit number 10, the soul broker. Remember, chicks, not every predator hunts in the shadows. Some wear pressed suits, carrying clipboards, smiling as they tally up their collection. So the next time you're about to click "I agree" without reading, ask yourself, are you agreeing to terms and conditions? Or are you signing your soul over to the broker himself? Until next time, roost safe.